ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतस्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतस्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोडकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वसिष्ठान्ते वसत् ऋषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे। भूरम्बास्य नलो निलोम्बरमहर्नाथो हिमांशुः इत्याबादिचराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत्किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशतां यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। A yogi who is a upasaka, he comes to conquer all the 5 elements in the universe, and this conquering of the Panchamahabhutas gives him certain Ishwaratvam. Ishvara upasakaha obtains Ishwaratvam. What is this Ishwaratvam? The ability to keep all the aspects of the Mahabhutas under his control. As far as the earth is concerned, we saw that in the verse number 34, Malamutraka palpatva Tvam arogyam lagutamatanoho sugandha swarnavarnatvam pratamam yoga lakshanam. Pratamam yoga lakshanam. After having explained the Ashtanga yoga, a yogi, after conquering the earth, he would gain the first yoga lakshana is mala, mutra, kapha, alpatvam. The body will have less excretions in the form of mala, mutra and kapha, And then positively Arogyam, health. Laguta Tanoho. Tanoho Laguta, the very lightness of the physical body. Sugandha, and a smell of a great fragrance on his body will come. Suvarna Varnatvam, body will show the brilliance. These are all the Pradhamam Yoga Lakshanam. Continuing in that, verse number 35, conquering of the water. Kantakagreshvasangatvam Jalapangeshvamajjanam Krutrudadisahishnutvam Dvitiyam Yoga Lakshanam. Dvitiyam Yoga Lakshanam. Yogi gains the second important power is control over the water. In what way? Kantaka agreshu asangatvam. Kantaka agreshu asangatvam. So the points of the very sharp thorns, he will not be at all hurt. Kanta agreshu, the sharpness of a kantaka, of a thorn, asangatvam, will not be pierced or being pointed out or pushed in. This is said to be his ability. Like in a water cannot touch there is no possibility of tearing the water. That is not possible. Jalapangeshu amajjanam. Amajjanam means to sink. Amajjanam cannot get sunk into the water. Water cannot sink into the water. So obviously he will conquer that. Then Kshut Trudadi, the Tsutrungadi. So there is no, Kshut means hunger, and Truda means the thirst, etc. Sahishnutvam, ability to bear hunger, thirst, meaning he will not be troubled by hunger and thirst when it is also seen in this case of the yogis who are deep into the samadhi sthiti, they having conquered the water element, they will not be ever come out they would not come out of their yoga or samadhi due to hunger or thirst, etc. These are all the powers he will obtain as the second set of yogic powers. Next comes the fire. Bhakvannapana bhoktrutvam Atapadi Sakishnuta Darshanam Shravanam Durat Tritiyam Yoga Lakshanam. The digestive fire becomes very, very strong, and therefore Bahu Anna Pana Bhoktrutvam, ability to eat large amount of food and water. Atapadi Sakushnuta, ability to bear the heat of the sun. Adi, when it is said, the heat of the fire, etc. Darshanam, the Shravanam Durat, ability to see long distance or to hear long distance. The sharpness of the eyes and sharpness of the ears. These are all the third set of powers a Ishvara Upasaka, a yogi, gains. Next one is conquering of the air. Manduka Plavanam Bhumau Markata Plavanam Drume Akasha Gamanam Cheti Chaturtam Yoga Lakshanam. Bhumau on the earth, Manduga Plavanam, ability to climb, ability to jump or leap like that of the frog. And Drume on the trees, etc. Markada Plavanam, like the monkey who would be able to climb up and jump. Akasha Gamanam, ability to fly through the air. Iti Chaturtham Yoga Lakshanam. Now you see all these powers you see exhibited by Hanumanji. Interesting thing is, all this, he was such a yogi, and what he has done over many lives before is also coming to a fruition at that point when he became the servant of Bhagavan Sri Rama. He was not affected by fire at all, even though he was causing fire everywhere. He could not be drowned when he was crossing through the ocean. He was passing by the air. So all this you will find in him. That is why he is considered as a Mahayogi, who has conquered the 5 elements. So now last one is space. Jnanam trikala vishayam Aishwaryam animadikam Ananta Shaktimatvancha Panchamam Yoga Lakshanam. Trikala Vishayam Jnanam. He would have the knowledge of what happened in the past, present, and future. Trikala Vishayam Jnanam. Aishwaryam. A great amount of siddhi. Animadikam. Anima, Garima, Mahima, Lagima, Prakashya, Prakamya, Ishitvam, Vashitvam, iti Ashta, various of 8 kinds of siddhi. Ashta siddhi navanidike data, Asavaradina Janaki Mata. So Anima, that is said, Anima, Lagima, Prapti, Prakamyam, Anima legima prapti prakamyam mahima tata ishitvam cha vashitvam cha tata kama vasayita. Kama vasayita. So in this, anima means ability to become small at once, at will. He did that. Hanumanji did that when the Rakshasi, what is that? Simhika, when she opened the huge mouth, went inside and came out. I am done. You could not close. What can I say? I will just went in. So, Anima. Lagima, very light. He could fly like a feather. And Prapti. Prapti means ability to, Prapti means to gain. So he can touch anything from wherever he is. Prakamya, where if he desires something, he will get it. Mahima means becoming huge. When he was tied down, or when he was fire was put on his tail, he became huge. And also when he showed himself to Sita ji, first he became so small. And then I spoke to her, and then she said, "You are going to carry me. How is that possible? How is that you are?" So he said, "I'll show you." She became so huge. Mahima. Garima is where he becomes very heavy. Instead of that, in this particular one, they did not add that. They say Ahinima, Lagima, Prati, Prakamyam, Mahima Tada. They added the Kama Vasagita. In some places it is in place Garima is given. Garima is where one becomes heavy. We cannot move him. It is said only once in the Dwapara Yuga, where the Bhima was passing by, and that Hanumanji was lying there on his path with his tail extended. So Bhima said, "Okay, why are you monkey? You just remove your tail from there." He said, "I'm too tired. You try to take it out." Could not move an inch. So then he realized who is lying there, not normal monkey. It was Hanumanji. It's heavy, it becomes like a heavy mountain. Then Ishitvam. Ishitvam means Ish means to desire, also to conquer or power. Ishitvam is ability to conquer everything. Vashitvam is to attract everything. Kamavasayita means to decide about what has to happen according to one's desire, or convert things from one condition to another condition. So these are all considered as the Ashtasiddhi. So conquering the earth, water, fire, air, space, and also having ability to do things as one's own likes, becoming small, becoming big, becoming heavy, becoming light. All that are possible in the yogi when he one by one conquers through the Ashtanga Yoga. Now it is said the energy that is there in the Mooladhara, when it is passing through Ida and Pingala, through which it usually passes, prana apana. But when a yogi sits there in meditation, he maintains the balance of prana apana, and slowly he brings that into the middle nerve, which is middle nadi, known as Sushumna nadi, and with that he will pass from Mooladhara to Swadhisthana to Manipura to Anahata and Manipura, and then Vishuddhi, and then Agnya Chakra, and finally to Sahasrara. So this is how the energy will move. And as he enters into Sushumna Nadi, what happens there? Prano Sushumnam Samprapte Nadonta Shruyate Shtada Ganta Dundubi Shankabdi Veena Venvati Talavat. Physically, not the prana apana are moved. Both of them, prana and apana vayus, even though they are physical, but the nadi through which he is trying to take the Shakti or the power all the way from Mooladhara to Sahasrara is a very meditative engagement. And only under the guidance of a yogi who has already practiced that, one should be able to do it. And the great Siddha Purushas have accomplished this, and there are many even today in the world are there, but they will not be available easily for us to know. And such Mahayogis, when they slowly enter the prana apana into the Sushumna Nadi, they will start to hear certain things within themselves. Prane Shushubnam Samprapte Nadaha Antashruyate, Ashtada Nadaha Antashruyate. 8 kinds of sounds they will be able to hear. What are those? Ganthanadam, the ringing of the bell, Dundubihi, kettle drum, Shankha, conch, Abdi, sea waves, Veena, lute, Venu, flute, Adi is Mridangam, Tala, that is cymbals. These are all the 8 sounds would be heard by him within himself. Nowadays you don't need that. You just put the 2 headphones and you'll hear all of them. They're all yogis actually. Yogis, they are hearing everything without doing anything. No yoga is necessary. They can hear. Instead of hearing it through yoga nowadays. So this is also said to be the the expression of yoga or achievements there. Again, when he starts to pass through the Sushumna Nadi, furthermore, siddhis are explained here. Tanunapatadittara tare shatapanopamam brahmanadi gate prane bimbarupam prakashate. So here there are all the various forms of fire and luminaries are explained here. What are those things here? Tanunapada means Agnihi. Tanunapada. Then Tadit. Tadit means what is explained here in the translation is lightening. But the Bhasha says Saudamini. A flash of the light. Tara, nakshatra. Taresha, Chandra. Tapanaha is Surya. These are all considered as the powers of Ishvara. Brahmanadi Gade Prapti. Upama means equal to. So equal to the fire, lightning, stars, moon, Surya, sun, equal to that, Bimbarupam Prakashate. Brahmanadikate Prane Bimbarupam Prakashate. All these various kinds of lights are available for him to experience in his own mind. These are all to show that how the power of the Shakti, or what is hidden power, what is otherwise known as the coiled power. Imagine if a snake or a serpent is coiled completely and is lying there. And when it is provoked, it starts to open up itself. And if it starts to extend itself up, the same way, the coiled power of the Shakti is there at the Mooladhara. It starts to open up and start going upward. One of the names for Bhagavan Shiva is Urdhvaretas. Urdhvaretase Namaha. Retas means the accumulated power. Urdhva means going upward. So Urdhvaretas means the power of the Lord rising up. So that is considered as a very, very powerful experience, and it is also said if one is unprepared, it can cause havoc in the person. Our own physical body and our own mind has got so much of hidden powers unconquered. It is there. And when we start to open up, it will start giving so many unimaginable experiences. That is what is accounted here. Now, continuing here, prana, or the air that we breathe, is very interestingly correlated with the movement of the sun. Here in this, he accounts that, or he mentions that, Sureshwaracharya. Shwasascharanti yavanto manushyasya dinam prati tavanti yojananyarkaha Shwase Shwase Pradavati. So it is said here, Yavantah Manushasya Shwasah Dinam Pradi Charanti. Yavantah, as many times, Manushasya of a person, Shwasah, breathing, Dinam Pradi, every day, Charanti, moves. Tavanti, thus far, Yojanani, yojanas, which is 8.5 miles per 1 yojana, Arkaha, sun, Shwase Shwase Pradavati. In every breath is moving. The calculation is given here. For example, Ekavimshati Sahasram Shatchatam 21,600 times is the number of breaths a person normally takes in and out per day. Breathing is 21,600 times. And 21,600 is every time you breathe, 8.5 yojanas the sun will move. 8.5 miles. 1 yojana, 8.5 miles. So if you calculate that, it is said that one breathing will take 4 seconds. And this accounts for, as the note says, 46,000 miles per second sun moves. Do you think sun doesn't move, Swamiji? Sun is stationary. What are you talking? In the cosmos, sun is moving. Interesting. We think that sun is stationary, earth is moving. All right, that is true. But sun is also in the galaxy. Just like the earth is moving around the sun is moving also in the galaxy. So this our masters have already thought about and even wrote it down. And now the science of today says, yeah, sun is also moving. The whole galaxy of this particular galaxy, which has sun as the center and all the planets going around, that also is moving in the total cosmos. So that is again pointed out. Now, as we have been seeing in this particular section of that 9th verse, what is it? It is Upasana. In this Upasana, from the beginning itself, we saw whatever is happening outside in the world is also happening inside us. That is how an Upasaka will meditate on. The whole universe is represented by the body, by one's own body. There is an intimate connection between individual self and the universal self. As much as we say Jivatma and Paramatma are one and the same, and we say that Jivatma with this body cannot be the Paramatma with the entire world as a body. Paramatma with the body of the whole universe is called Ishvaraha, Parameshvaraha. And Jivatma with the individual single body is the individual limited being. We call it as usually Jiva. Now, what is making the Jiva looks conditioned or limited is the Upadhi with which he is functioning, which is limited. And what makes the Ishvara as Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman? Because of the size of the Upadhi he is using, which is the whole universe. Now, usually in Vedanta, what we say, forget about the Upadhi or the conditioning factor with which we function. Look at the essence, then Jiva and Parameshwara, Jiva and Paramatma are one and the same. Not the Jiva is called to Ishvara. Atman is equal to Paramatman, not Jiva is equal to Ishvara. But Upasana is different. Upasana is not about Atma Paramatma Aikyatvam, it is about Jiva Ishvara Aikyatvam, which is individual person with the limited body and Ishvara with unlimited power are also equal. How it is equal? Because the Upasaka conquers this limitation through yoga, through the invocation of the power which is hidden, he conquers the limitation and becomes equal to that of Ishvara. That is the reason why he is explaining how he conquers earth, water, fire, air, space through the practice of yoga. And now also the breathing, very importantly, which is the connection between the individual and the cosmic world. Prana connects us, right, from the external world to internal world. Prana, because prana stops, the individual is no more, is cut off from being alive. So what makes the life possible is the prana. Prana is what is expressing as though the individual, though this consciousness is there, but if without the prana, the body doesn't exist. Even if you take a plant, if the prana is cut off, it will die. It may be still on the earth, but it will die. So the individual body also will die if the prana is cut off. Now, what this prana or the life-giving energy, this life-giving energy is intimately connected to the Atman which is within. Now you see how that is correlated here in verse number 42. Ekavimshati sahasram Shachatram Shwasa Sankyaya Sohamityucharatyatma Mantram Pratyahamashu Ayushe. Ekavimshati Sahasram Shachadam. Ekavimshati means 21. Ekavimshati. Vimshati is 20. Ekavimshati 21. Sahasram 21,000. Shatchatram 600. So Ekavimshati Shatchatram is 21,600. Swasa Sankhya. This number of Sankhya means count. So see, Swasa Sankhya, this many count of breathing, 21,600 count of breathing. In those 21,600 times, the Paramatma, which is within us, Atman it is called, he or that Atman utters Soham, 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 every breath. That's why Bhagavan Ravana Maharshi said, Aham aham iti sakshat atma rupena bhati. Even though there is soundless utterance, Soham, 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 Soham. Every breath it is going on. Soham iti ucharati atma. The utterance of Soham is going on by the Atman. Mantram. Sohamati mantram ucharati atma. And what is it for? Prati aham ayushe. Pratyaham ayushe. Ayushe means ayur vruddhyartam ityartaha. For the sake of maintaining the life in the body. Now when you go to sleep also, Atman is pretty much present breathing. You think you are doing the breathing. You don't do the breathing. In fact, you hardly do anything about this. Do you breathe? You say, yes, I am breathing. But do you do it? It's happening. Who's doing it then? Pata nahi. Pata nahi. So that means it is going on without your permission. And just as it is going without your permission, it will leave also with your permission only. अरे मुझे permission नहीं लिया मैंने. You not taken permission from me. Why should I take permission? While I am doing it, I never took your permission. Leaving is my choice. I came, I was breathing, and I leave. Whether you like it or not. So, constantly this 21,600 times this Soham is going on. Now, the Upasaka has a choice to pay attention to it or not to pay attention. Now, what happens? He pays attention to this. That is called deep level of meditation. Every breath there is Soham, 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 Soham. The mind will become extremely quiet with that simple detachment from the world and tuning yourself into that which you are not doing anything, it's going on. So it is when you pay attention to what is already happening, action stops. You are not engaging in paying attention to the action which you are doing. But that action which is already happening even without you engaging in, when your mind is able to tune to that, action ends. Now, this Soham, what it is, now you see in the next verse he says, this is a mantra. Sakaram, Sakaram, Chahakaram, Cha. Lopayitva prayojayet Sandimbai purvarupakyam Tato sau pranavo bhavet. See, in this Soham, there are three letters. Sa, Ha, which is so Sa, which becomes so, because Sa Aham, when you are writing together in Sanskrit, the Sandhi is called Sa Aham, becomes Soham. Because the Sandhi rule it is. So Soham, which is actually Saha, that, Aham, I, becomes Soham. Like a Shivoham when you write, many people say Shivaham. It's not Shivaham. Shivaha, when you say Visarga, Shivaha, Aham, that Visarga becomes O. Narayanaha Aham, Narayanoham. Narayano, because that Visarga, Narayanaha Aham, that Visarga becomes O. Dasaha Aham, become Dasoham. So, Soham, Saha Aham. In that, so, that Sa and Ham, the Ha, moves away. What remains is Om. Think. Soham, Soham. In that so, the Sa elided. So that's what he says. Sakaranscha hakarancha lopayitva. Those two slowly having been removed, elided means become, lopa means disappearing slowly. What will remain is, let's say you don't pronounce Sa and do Soham. Oham, Oham. So that in the remove Ha also. Om, Om. Right? So Soham becomes Om. prayojayet, when it is engaged in that way, sandhim vai purvarupakyam. So the sandhi has become O, that O alone, that's a make the sandhi between sa and ha. That asau pranavo bhavet. It becomes pranava mantra. Pranava mantra means Om. So soham becomes Om. So this is what is the reason why Om is considered as the most powerful mantra among all. Bhagavan Krishna also says, I am the Pranava mantra among all the mantras. Among the chandas, I am the Gayatri chandas, but among the mantras, aham Pranavaha. So, now you see, in the next verse he says, Akaraschapyukarascha Makaro Bundunadakau Panchaksharanyam Panchaksharanyamunyahuhu Pranavastani Panditaha. So, Akara, Ukara, Makara, Bindu, Nada. This is called Panchakshara. When A and U come together, become U or O. O, in English, when you write Om, that O includes A and U. So, Akarascha, Ukarascha, then that O includes A and U, already included there. Then Makarascha, that Im is, including in that is Bindu and Nada. Ascha, Uscha, Au, Etadupari Makare Yojite, Ayam cha Makaraha Swarahinatvat Parena Binduna Yojyaha. So, is, when added to O, it has that half Chandra, Ardha Chandra, and or crescent moon, and the dot. That is called Bindu. Binduna Yojya. Tada Om iti Rupam Nipapadyate. That is how Om is formed. Edacha doshavada pranena ekikarena nadena mooladharat uttidena. That the sound of Om comes as a sound. When you close your eyes and you think of Om is one thing, but the sound of Om comes from all the way from Mooladhara. From the Mooladhara, which is called the original of power Shakti, from where it starts. So the practitioners of Om will invoke the power while chanting Om from the Mooladhara and slowly rise up, as it is said before, to all the way up to Sahasrara. So, Amuni Panchaksharani, Panchaksharanyamuni Ahuhu. See, Panchaksharani, Amuni, which is Pranava Shabda Vacha Pindasthani. It is there in the Pinda or the physical body as though in the form of Prana. In the Prana and Pranava, that is what is to be collected there. Panchaksharani, Akara, Ukara, Makaro, Binduscha idi Chatvari, Nadascha Tesham Samanyatmaka Panchamamaksharam, Iti evam Panchaksharani Ahuhu Panditaha. So Panditaha Ahuhu as Panchaksharam Pranavasthani Panditaha. So this Bindu and Nada has to be considered as being added to the letter A, U and letters A, U and Ma. Together they become Panchakshara. Very word Akshara means Ksharam na vidyate. It doesn't die. It doesn't perish. It is imperishable. Which results in the indicating the Panchakshara indicating the imperishable presence Brahman. So that is why it is Om is considered as the breath of the Lord. So through the breath of the Lord you reach the Lord himself. The breath of the Paramatman, as though it's to that very breath itself you reach his presence. It's called Pranavanadam, or considered as the primordial sound of the universe. The sound of life, Om. That's why in Buddhist tradition also, in the Hindu tradition also, Pranava is considered, the Om is considered as the way to invoke. If you go to Buddhist monastery, etc., the way they chant Om, you get very jittery about that. Om. They try to take that sound from all the way from Mooladhara. So sometimes it's very scary to hear that sound. But when they do that sound, it's very meditative. Sometimes when you sit down, when the monks sit down and chant that Om, it's very interesting to be in that state, because it is all of them invoking the Mooladhara Shakti there. And it is said all the three deities worshipped in the Hinduism are all already present in that Pranava. Brahma, Vishnuscha, Rudrascha, Apishwarascha, Sadashivaha, Teshvakshareshu Tishtanti, Shatrim Tattva Samyutaha. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, Shiv, Rudraha, the annihilator, Ishvaraha, the ruler, and Sadashivaha, one who is having spiritual brilliance. Teshu Akshareshu Tishtanti, they are all present in that Om, in the Panchakshara. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Rudra, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvara, and Sadashiva. So, A, U, Ma, Bindu, Nada. A, Brahma. U, Vishnu. Ma, Shiva. Bindu, Ishvara. Nada, Sadashiva. Along with them is Teshu Akshareshu Tishtanti Shat Trimshat Tattva Samyudaha. Along with the 36 elements about which we saw in the verse number 2 in this very chapter itself, in the very verse here, verse number 2 had explained in detail. In that we saw that Mahabhutani Pancha 5, Jnana Indriyani Pancha 10, Karmendriyani Pancha 15, Pancha Pranaha 20, Pancha Vishayaha 25, then Antarindriyani, 4 of them, Mana Buddhi Ahankara Chittam, so 25 plus 4, 29. Bindu, Nada, Shakti, Shiva, then Shanti, Atita. These 6 plus Ishvaraha. So this constitutes 7. So totally it will become 36. They are all treated in the same Panchakshara. That is how 36 aspects are being included here. So Chandogya Upanishad also says, Tadyata Shakuna Sarvani Brannani Santrannani Evam Omkarena Sarvavag Santrana Omkara Eva Idam Sarvam. Just like Tadyata, like that of Shakuna Sarvani Parnani. There is if you look at any tree, there is a central one particular stem in which all the leaves are connected. If you take one leaf, if you look at it, the leaf has a central one single stem, and the leaf is formed over that. There is a central one, and all the leaf is like this. The central, there is one. This is like that of Sushumna Nadi. That is through which this leaf is able to get all the energy from. Just like a trunk of a tree through which the energy from the earth moves all the way to the top. Sometimes these trees can be 300, 400 feet. Like if you go to sequoias or you go to redwood forest, and the height is unbelievable. Like water has to move from all the way from the earth up to 300 feet without any motor pump. Think about that. Leaf at the top of 300 feet has got to survive. Where the water is going? No pump. No. What is the pump? Water. If you have a height of a building 300 feet height, the top of the floor, how do you get the water there? So this is nature has done it. It's a wonder. Power is there even in the tree which is standing, which is taking so much height. So every leaf has got a stem through which it is moving. So Tatyata Shakuna Sarvani Parnani, all the leaves, Santranani, they are all crowding, clustering together. Evam, in the same way, Omkarena Sarvavak. All the sound has come from Om as the central nerve, central point. Santrana are all coming together, woven together. Omkara eva idagam sarvam. Therefore, Omkara is like that of the lifeline of every being. And there are many other places also. Mandukya Upanishad says, Omityedadaksharamidagam sarvam. Everything is nothing but Om itself. Mandukya Upanishad says, Sarvam hi edat brahma Om iti. Now, how one would come to have the conquering of all the 5 elements as well as the Ashtanga Yoga? So, that is only by the grace of the Guru who imparts that knowledge. This one should understand. Therefore, it is said, Guru Prasadar Labate Yogam Ashtanga Lakshanam Shiva Prasadat Labate Yoga Siddhim Cha Shashvatim. Guru Prasadat Labate. By the grace of the Guru alone, one gains what? Yogam. This skill of releasing the jiva or increasing the awareness all the way up to Mooladhara, from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, and finally departure also, or through the prasada of the Guru alone, the Ashtanga Yoga also gained. Shiva Prasadat Labate, by the grace of Shiva, Yoga Siddhihi, all the Siddhis that are spoken can also be Shashvadim Siddhim Labate. That is why it is said, Yasya deve para bhaktihi yata deve tada guru tasyeta kadita hi artaha prakashante mahatmanaha. If a person has got the love for one's own guru as much as one has for one's what do you call, one's own chosen deity, one has the same amount of devotion, reverence, and love for Guru, then all the things that are explained in the scriptures become self revealing. This is what is said in Shvetashvatar Upanishad. So, this is the reason why Guru's grace and Guru's glory is elaborated in this 9 verses, 10 verses by Dakshinamoorty Stotram. Okay, continuing here. Satchidananda Rupaya Bindunatantaratmane Adimadhyanta Shunyaya Gurunam Gurave Namaha. Bindu Nada Atmane Antaratmane Satchidananda Rupaya. We know the nature of the self is of pure existence, consciousness, and bliss, Satchit Ananda. Added to that is Bindu and Nada. Antaratman is Bindu and Nada. So here we are all of the nature of Satchit Ananda only. Bindu and Nada in this context to be understood as form and name. Our form is Bindu and our name is Nada. So this is how it is explained here. Bindu Nada Antaratmane. Bindu Nada tu Rupa Namani Avirbhavati Tirobhava Dharmakau Stha. Utpatti Sthiti Laya Adharam Vastu Gamayatah Idi Pranava Brahmopalakshanam Idi Nama Rupatmaka Nada Bindu Adhishtanasya Ashrayantar Antara Shankam Apakurvan Aha Adi Madhyanta Shunya Yadi. So Bindu and Nada representing form and the name, at the same time it has no beginning or end. Adi Madhyanta Shunyaya. That Guru, even though he appears in front of us as a physical form, he is only Satchidananda associated with Bindu and Nada. That's why Bindu Nada Kalatita Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha, when we chant, right, in the Guru Stotram. Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Vyomatito Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalatitaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So that Bindu and Nada is representing form and the name, but at the same time a Guru is a avatar or presence of, physical presence of Bhagavan Ishvara only. Therefore, he does not have any beginning or end. Adi Madhyanta Shunyaya Gurunam Gurave Namaha. Dakshinamurti is the Guru of all Gurus. He is the Adi Guru. There is Sadashiva Samarambam. That Sadashiva is of the two kinds. Tirobhava, Avirbhava. Concealing through his Maya and revealing through Vidya. Concealing through Maya is called Tirobhava. Covering, concealing. And Vidya Rupena Avirbhava. With the knowledge he becomes manifest. That is called Sadashiva. So Sadashiva Samarambam. So from that Sadashiva alone, everything, all the Gurus have come to be. And therefore here it is said, Adimadhyanta Shunyaya Gurunam Gurave Namaha. So thus we conclude this ninth verse here. Idi Sri Dakshinamurti Stotrartha Pradipadake Prabandhe Manasollase Navamollasa Sangraha. Navama Ullasa, for explaining the ninth verse of Dakshinamurti. This Sri Dakshinamurti Stotra Artha Pradipadake. Artha Pradipadake means to reveal the correct knowledge of this Dakshinamurti Stotram. Ninth verse, this Manasa Ullasa ends. So we will see in the next 2 classes or so, 1 class maybe or 2 classes, we'll see the opening or introduction of the 10th verse. So, yeah, and the explanation on that. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkavad Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.